Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives inside and outside of relationships. You guys, it all starts from within, and if you don't feel right from within, you are going to attract chaos in your love life. So let's chat. Let's talk today. It has been a while. I'm not gonna lie. I took the last 2 weeks off. I was only supposed to be gone for a week, but I ended up, I was in London and Paris. I came back and I still am not feeling 100%, but I had the worst allergies. Like, I had a fever, was not doing too hot. I literally could not hear a thing. I couldn't even hear myself think. Don't even know right now if I'm being too loud or too quiet because I can't hear a thing. I can't even hear myself talk. So that's where I'm at today. I literally am so congested. Bear with me here today. Wow, so many updates. So much has happened in the past 2 weeks. I literally just got back a week ago. Paris was actually, I really enjoyed, which is weird. I didn't think I would like Paris. I just heard like whatever, it's like overrated, overpriced. I don't think it's that overpriced. Maybe I'm just living in my like delusional land of living in Miami, but I don't think it's that overpriced. I think it's cheaper than London, what I've come across, but that's kind of what I saw. Anyway, had a full friend falling out during Paris, which was, I literally will not ever again travel with that many friends because it's just, we had a group of 10 people. Everyone just kind of like showed their true colors, and I was willing to walk away from certain friendships there. I ended up going to London by myself, and I just love being there. I'm going back in May. I am in love with London. I fall in love with London every single time I go. I always end up meeting the best people. I have some big plans for May, so I'm hoping that it translates to this podcast as well. So I definitely want to get some more guests on. I think I want to get some more guests from the UK. So if you're watching this, you're from the UK, I'm coming for you. But anyway, let's fucking get into the episode. Today, I did want to talk a little bit about, we're chit-chatting about, are you looking for a feeling or are you looking for a relationship? So I recently made a TikTok about this and it kind of popped up, so I'm making a full episode on it. I wanted to talk about this because I think even more so now, for some reason, I'm getting a lot of clients that like just don't know what exactly they're looking for when they are dating, which is fine. I think like it's all about figuring it out and like going on dates and whatever, but really to the core, not necessarily what you want in another person, but what are you looking for? Like, are you looking for just a companionship? Are you looking for a relationship? Are you searching for this feeling to feel? I think a lot of people are just looking for like a companion, like a companionship. Like, they want to feel in love. They want to feel the spark. They want to feel these endorphins. In the very beginning, it feels so good. It feels like you're riding this honeymoon phase. But then I've noticed a lot of people that I work with, it falls off after a couple of weeks to after a couple of months. And why does this keep happening? Like, it either like falls off, like someone gets bored, or it falls off like nothing happens from it, or they start to panic. But something always happens at that like 2-week mark or that like 2-month mark, and something always falls off. It's either an issue with who you're choosing, right? Because the person that is gonna give you that long-term, happy, healthy relationship that you want, that your soul's craving, that you want to build a family with, or whatever the case is, those people tend to get overlooked. They don't lead with this crazy spark that you feel that rushes all of your endorphins to where it feels like this crazy, like, oh my God, we have this amazing chemistry. We have this amazing spark. It feels so good. And when you're riding on the spark alone, you tend to overlook these really healthy relationships that could be really great for you because you don't get that like crazy feeling of sparkiness in the very beginning. Typically, those crazy sparks that you feel in the very beginning aren't usually the start of a healthy relationship. Aren't usually, I'm saying. Sometimes, whatever, like it can lead into a healthy relationship, like you have this crazy thing, you both are on the same page, but like Usually what I've noticed with myself, with my clients, with my friends, it's when you have that crazy connection and you're like so drawn to this person and you're like, oh my God, I'm so in love in that first couple of weeks. It usually burns out a lot quicker than the relationship where you're like, I'm not so sure. Like maybe this could lead to something, maybe it couldn't. And then the more that you go on more dates with that person, the more you explore that relationship, you end up finding out that you're like, your feelings start to grow. The falling in love that's not so healthy, it's the growing in love that you want. Because when you are riding it so fast in the very beginning, you're gonna get burnt out. Someone inevitably is gonna be like, wow, this is too much too soon. I actually don't really know you, or I don't even really like you. I was just riding off of a feeling. And I think that's so normal for a lot of people to do. I don't think a lot of people understand how to effectively date nowadays. The guys that you want to watch out for, the people really that you want to watch out for, are the type of people that you feel this crazy connection with. They are selling you this dream, because every time someone tries to sell you a dream, especially early on, they usually underdeliver. They usually don't perform at the level that they say they're going to. Words are just words in the very beginning. All of the things that they say they're going to do, all the things that they say are going to happen, the future faking. It really comes down to like love bombing, future faking, like, oh, I can't wait to like go on this crazy trip with you and we're going to have this beautiful vacation and everything's gonna be fantastic and I can't wait to get married with you and have kids. Painting this future in their head, maybe they even believe it. Maybe they believe it. Usually they're lying to themselves, saying that they want a relationship and they want all these things with you. Well, if this person is saying that we're gonna do all these crazy things, like I can't wait to experience these things, and that's just as good in your head than actually living it out in real life, because they're telling you that these things are gonna happen. So you have no choice but to believe this person, right? It's like the very beginning and they're saying like all these crazy things. You're like, wow, like they must be committed. They must be in this for the long haul. If they're making all these future plans with me, it must be really serious in their head. So I have no choice now but to take them seriously. And since they're being so vulnerable and opening up and giving me all of these things, now I'm like, I'm invested. I want to have that future. They're saying everything that I want to hear, essentially. It wasn't until like my recent couple of years where I have met really healthy guys that like could potentially be really great boyfriends, really great husbands, whatever, that keep their cards super close to their chest. These are the guys that you want to invest in. The guys that aren't selling too much, the guys that are taking things slowly, one step at a time, really getting to know you, not overly selling themselves about the future, about what this could potentially turn into. Like, you want to be on the same page of like, hey, I want this too. Okay, good, we're on the same page. But it's not like, okay, like we're gonna get married and this is what our kids are gonna be, and like we're gonna have this amazing family with a white picket fence and all of these things, and I can't wait to go on this vacation with you. Never have I ever met a guy that I was like, this could be a healthy relationship, that was offering a vacation in month 1, that was telling me they were going to marry me, and that was telling me they really, really, really liked me. That just doesn't exist. They're so careful and cautious and intentional about the moves that they're making because they don't want to turn you off, or they don't want to plant the seed in your head that there's a potential there when they're still trying to figure it out themselves. They're still trying to learn you. Really, the people you need to watch out for are the people that in the very beginning are selling you all of these crazy ideas. They might be feeling a feeling, but this is what it means to be dating specifically for a feeling. Because if you are the type of person who has a lot of short-term relationships, has a lot of couple weeks relationships, has a lot of like couple months relationships, and then they ended up falling off, lying to yourself, saying that you want a relationship when in actuality, you want the feeling of being in a relationship. You want companionship. You want these endorphins. You want to be feeling like you're riding this euphoric high. Actual relationship is going to progress over time. It's not something that you're going to just fall into. Oh my God, we felt this crazy connection and now we're in a relationship, and then like a couple months down the line, it's like they fall off and what just happened? I have been chasing the wrong thing. Okay. And I used to do this all the time. I'm not even like accusing anyone else, because I used to be the type of person And really at the time, I didn't want a relationship, but I was convincing myself that I did. Like, oh, I want a relationship, whatever. But at the time, I really just wanted short-term flings. Like, I wanted to just feel a feeling for a little bit and then ride that wave of like getting myself hurt. And it wasn't until I was like actually fed up with like, okay, I think I've been hurt too many times the past month, in the past couple of months, with these short-term flings that I fall so heavy for, and then they end up falling off out of nowhere because they backed away or because I fell for their bullshit. Being so fed up with the dating scene, I think that's where a lot of people fall into, is you're not, first of all, being intentional about what you want. If you're looking for a relationship, but then you're entertaining people that are giving you fuckboy behavior, that are giving you this crazy love bombing, like, oh my God, we feel so great together, the chemistry's there, everything is falling perfectly. It's those people you have to watch out for. So if you're only going for those kind of people that feel so amazing in the beginning, it's really on you. You have to know what you're looking for. Are you looking for short-term flings? It's okay if you are. Like, a lot of people fall into that. But then don't get mad at the end of the day when you're not in a relationship a year down the line and you're like, I just spent so much time dating people and nothing turned into anything. And now I'm sitting here thinking, the dating pool sucks, blah, blah, blah. No, you're just choosing. You have to take a little bit of accountability here. You're choosing the type of people that are going to give you short-term flings. Like, that is what you're choosing. So until you are absolutely fed up with the dating scene being the way that it is, meaning you're really just picking the wrong people, until you're actually fed up and you're tired of being hurt, you're tired of having these short-term flings that turn into nothing, that's when you know you're actually ready for a relationship. Because honestly, I'm at the point now where I do want a relationship, and I'm more than willing to be patient about it because I know the right fit is going to happen over a course of time. It's not going to be so crazy hot and heavy in the very beginning because those always drop off. Started talking. I don't know. Okay, first of all, I'm like in a phase right now in my life where I'm like, I don't even want to talk about anyone that I'm talking to. I want to keep everything to myself, because here's what happens. I tell my family members, I tell my friends about someone that I'm talking to or someone that I'm interested in, and then all of a sudden it's this huge deal, and I'm like, we literally went on 3 dates, let's fucking relax, one step at a time. I need you guys to not make this a big deal, because it's at this point in my life, it's not as big as you're making it seem. Okay, maybe that's a defense mechanism, but every time they hype it up, I'm like, I get in my head like, oh my God, like the potential of this, where could this go? Whereas if I'm just keeping it close to my chest, I just want to feel it out, see if this is right for me. If I will know eventually, and I'll tell people about it eventually, but that's kind of where I'm at. But I do want to bring this up because I do think it is very relevant. Okay, so I'm talking to someone, it's very new, it's very fresh, it's not like anything crazy, relax, I'm not making this a big deal. He's just very just like a good guy. Like, I know I could be able to trust, like, I know I could trust him. I know that I could trust him with like my feelings. I know that he was not the type of person that would cheat. I know that he is just a good, wholesome person, and I love that. But he's taking things so slow. There's a part of me, the unhealthy part of me, that I'm like, let's speed this up. Where are we going? What are we doing? And then I had to catch myself during this, and I'm like, if it's gonna be, it's gonna be. Like, I'm really rushing to get to the next thing in my head. Sometimes I tend to like, okay, what's next? I think that's just like the pace that I go with my life in general, which isn't always a good thing. He's like teaching me to take things slow, and I love that. Like, it feels really good. It feels really comfortable. I'm not expecting any texts like constantly. We don't text like all the time, every day, whatever. He really is not like that big of a texter. When we do text, it's like, okay, here and there, and I feel very comfortable with it. And I think a lot of times when you're texting someone all the time, you're like giving them all of your time and attention. It makes it really hard for you to open yourself up to anything else. And I think in the very beginning, it's nice to just get to know them for who they are, get to know them slowly, one step at a time, while also keeping your options open so you don't invest all of your time, attention, and energy into this one person that may or may not go anywhere, right? It's hard, but I do love the pace that this is going at, because I noticed when we were seeing each other, we would see each other and then we wouldn't really text that much until we made the next plan. During the time in between, I'm like, I'm very much free to do whatever I want. I still have the time. And I realized in the past I would get into these cycles where I was so into a guy, like I would cut off all my other options, and my sole focus would be on this one guy alone, and we would text all the time. It would be this texting 24/7 all the time, right? But then here's what happens when I do text a person all the time, not 24/7, but like when you're texting all the time, you stop making time for yourself. You stop making time for anyone else. You stop opening your options open because you're like, I have what I need. I have like they're fulfilling that attention space that I need. Instead of that, I'm able to like open myself up to other things. Like I'm able to go on other dates. I'm able to see where my options are. And I just think that that's really healthy. I know a lot of people are like, that's so unhealthy. Why wouldn't you just invest in one thing? But if you have an anxious attachment, or you tend to attach yourself very quickly, the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep your options open. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't agree with this, but it's actually really healthy. And you don't owe anyone anything in the very beginning. It's when, obviously you start to get a little bit more serious that other people start to fall off, may the best man win. Okay. But if you're anything like this, keep your options open. But I'm getting so way off course here, but I'm saying all this because when you're ready for a relationship, when you're not willing to tolerate anyone else that's either not willing to give you a relationship or willing to give you these like crazy expectations of a relationship without actually giving you a relationship, right? So keep that in mind. I think the biggest question that you can ask yourself today is, what are you really looking for? Is it a short-term fling? And be honest with yourself, because the more honest you can get, if it's just short-term fling and you can be honest with that, this is all I want right now. Like I'm having fun. I want to just like commit to these short-term things. Fine, like do that. But like be honest with yourself about it. The thing is, I wasn't honest with myself when I was doing this, and I was getting upset because I'm like, why doesn't anyone want to actually date me? It's like, it has nothing to do with them not wanting to date me. They're not ready for a relationship, and clearly neither am I. So taking accountability of where you're actually at, if you're really ready for a relationship, know that it is going to require a lot of hard work, effort, and dedication and sacrifices. It's not all obviously treacherous. There's going to be some beautiful moments, but a relationship does take work. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to put in work in order to sustain a relationship these days. They'd rather these short-term flings that are easy, quick, and on to the next, right? So be honest with yourself. What are you looking for? And until next week, that is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. And then if you did, please hit that 5-star rating, hit that thumbs up, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all next Tuesday. I'm sure I'm really not trying to like take off a lot of time here, but yeah, I'm sorry about the last 2 weeks. I didn't want to abandon you guys. I feel really bad, but I have missed you, and I promise to not do that again. It's just, I was not feeling like I could even sit and record an episode physically. So I hope you understand. I hope you forgive me, and I will see you next week.